Alright, so today we're going to talk about what this channel is for and my intentions with these two trucks. So, about 2 months ago, if you'd asked me, I'd have said trucks were mostly big, obnoxious, not really worth the time. And as you can see, I've now somehow ended up in a situation where I have two. So let's talk a little bit about how we got here. I've always been perplexed by vehicles. I've never really understood how they function, never taken the time to learn anything about it. It was never something I was terribly interested in because I had a vehicle that ran. If anything ever went wrong, we'd just take it to a shop and everything would be okay. So I decided that I wanted to start learning about vehicles, and I also decided that I wanted something that would be loud and kind of fun, but I didn't necessarily need something powerful. So as I started doing my research, I decided that an older truck was something I was interested in. A big, square body, kind of obnoxious, but just fun to be in truck. Started looking around. Not entirely sure how I ended up with Dodge, but came to the Dodge Rams, the first gens, and specifically their V8 variants. Now obviously I had to go with the 360. I didn't really understand entirely the difference between the 318 and the 360, but 360 is better, so you always want to go with the bigger, better one. So in my searches I ended up finding this 1985 W350. So it is the four-wheel drive, it is the 1-ton. I wasn't originally looking for a 1-ton, don't really plan on pulling anything, but this ended up coming up at a pretty good price. We went down, took a look at it. Does run a little bit rough at idle, but once it gets warmed up, you wouldn't know the difference. As you can see, there are definitely a couple issues with this truck. It definitely has some rust. Quite a few bigger spots here too. And on the other side it also has a little bit. We'll get over here. It's got quite a few rough spots down here as well. But you know, all things considering, as a starting point, this was a really good truck. Came with the top and the tires. It even has the I don't know how well you'll be able to see them, but even has an entire other set in the back. So, you know, all things considered, got it for $1,800. Can't say I was too upset with it. Started poking around with it, started looking, started learning, started finding out what different pieces and so on do. Kind of fell in love with it. But one of the things we wanted to do was we obviously wanted to fix the rust. In our searching and talking about what to do, we talked about everything from mostly ignoring it to welding. And one option we came up with was possibly trying to find a different cab and or bed and just swapping them out. Well, that is how we ended up with Old Red over here. Now this is a 1990 Dodge Ram. Also has the 360 in it. It's the W250, so the 3/4 ton, still a four-wheel drive. And I don't know how well I'll be able to get it. I don't really want to undo these straps, so I don't have to. But it was in a collision. Most of the damage is just on the passenger side. But other than that, it has a nearly perfect bed and cab. No rust to be seen even underneath. We have given her a pretty good look over before we got her, of course. But all the way around, both sides are in really good rust-free condition. And all said and done out the door, we paid about $1,600 for it, which for those two pieces alone was a pretty good deal. Now, I have two trucks, both of which do run, but neither of which are in perfect condition. And that's where we get to the whole point of two trucks and a dream. I I'm going to try and take this body, this frame, this cab, this bed, and the front end from that, and put that together on this truck. Now the other complication we came into is that starting in, I believe, 89, the Rams had throttle body injection, and the internet seems to hate it. And as I did more research, while I don't think I hate it, I definitely don't love it, and I would much prefer the carburetor. So the plan right now is we need to get the carburetor off of the 85. Well, actually, probably not the carburetor off that one, but a carburetor onto this truck, get the front end swapped, and get it set up. One of the things we're planning on doing is actually tearing this red truck down to the frame, sandblasting the frame, painting the frame, coating it, and working our way from that point up, re-sandblasting, getting all the rust off, painting everything, and trying to get it set up. Is it realistic? More or less. Is it going to be quick and easy? Absolutely not. Is there going to be a lot of learning and a lot of fun and maybe a little bit of frustration? Absolutely. So the hope and thought is that at the minimum, I can pass on a little bit of information about these two so that when the next person wants to start working on one of these, they have a little bit more information, and hopefully I can pass that along and be informational and maybe a little bit entertaining. But don't quote me on that, and don't hold me to it either, on either accounts. We're kind of just guessing, so we'll pass along what information we can, and you can do with it what you need. So that's the plan, that's the hope, that's the dream. And now you guys are filled in for the most part. So we will get this started, we'll pass it along, and as you can see, we've already actually started on the red truck, and I'll have a video up about getting that driver's side fender off soon. We just recorded that first because, I'll be honest, I was a little nervous starting this whole YouTube channel, so it took me a bit longer to get this introduction video done than planned. So that's the plan. See you guys in the next video.